is Saturday morning. It's the 27th of June. It's just coming up to 6:15, and I'll just show you the Father's Day cards. They're all made. This was from our daughter-in-law, our eldest son and granddaughter, because they know how it's nice to receive homemade cards. That's one that I've made for hubby. And then that was another one that I made, but that was for my youngest son. So yeah, so I thought I'd show you the cards because I never showed you them last weekend. Yeah, it's coming up to 6:15. I actually heard the rain, as I said in my previous video. Excuse the chant. It's forecast rain. And it is raining. I'm a little bit disappointed, but probably very disappointed because I've got both hubby home and my son has got a day off today. I just took holiday, and I was going to continue with the fencing. You can see how far we've got. As I said, that's the panel completed and all the bottoms done. But it was mostly the front. I wanted to get a few slabs up and pull those roots up to some major weeds and everything, and then was going to put the membrane down and the bark. It's been on the list now for a few weeks, but every time it comes to the weekend, I have both the guys here. We've either had a barbecue and company, or it's been raining. It was on the cards for today, so I'm getting on with my to-do list quite well. But as I said, that job is something that I cannot do personally, so it would have been easier and quicker having both the guys to do it. But this is supposed to be in now for the rest of the day, on and off. And it's still, you can't really tell, but it's actually really pouring down. So yeah, so it'd be pieces within our home to get that to-do list done. I'm doing really well with doing this series. It's actually gave me a kick at the backside to get some of those pieces done. And get it completed. So yes, so unfortunately fencing's half done. I know you're supposed to complete one job before you go on to the next, but as I said, it doesn't happen in our household. And I got the pillars there still to go on the beds. And yeah, my son was off yesterday, today and tomorrow. His birthday's tomorrow, so he's actually brought his monitor and keyboard and towel all down because it's just been too hot. Even with the fan, it's just been too hot upstairs to actually game up there, so I allowed him to bring it down on the dining room table. And while we're here, yay, hubby picked it up yesterday after work. Here's my laptop. Yes, you might notice no owl sticker. I don't think I'm going to put the owl sticker back on. I did say originally that if I had a new laptop, I would want the same transfer. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So if I could open it up and I will show you. There we are. So I don't know the specs, that was all on hubby, but I just use it, so I'm really pleased. And I love the colouring. Yeah, very girly. That was probably one of the main things. I could have gone for silver and everything, and I had a blue one before. Now, funny enough, this to me, I would, it changes in the light. In this light, it looks like a rose pink, but when it's in proper lighting, it almost looks lilac-y, purpley colour. Now, this was listed down as red, They must be colourblind because they call it red, but it's, to me it's not. But said in this light it looks like a rose pink, but in another light it looks like it's lilac. But I'm really pleased with it, and that's why the videos may be coming through thick and fast and catching up, because now I've got the laptop and hopefully the internet is a lot better. Said first thing in the morning, early morning, is the best time to actually upload at the moment, obviously because people are in bed, as hubby said to me I should be, but I did say that I might do a bit of video in and then I'll take my cup of tea up, because I'm wide awake. I slept quite well actually, because I think it was a tiny bit cooler, and with the rain now it's cooled right down. This is what I had up in the in my cubby. It's quite long. I'm thinking I'm going to wash it. I was going to wash it today with some a sachet of like whitening stuff, and then I didn't know about putting it at the entrance of my cubby, but I thought I'd wash it anyway. I'm still going to use it somehow, I'm not quite sure how. So yeah, I've got some mess. I've still got our granddaughter's toys down there. Really and truly, they may go up the upstairs cupboard because I don't think they are coming now. And obviously with the rain we was going to have a barbecue, but I said, well, I can still do it in the oven. But obviously you're not supposed to have, I don't think anyway, family and that in your home at this time. I think that starts probably next weekend. And I also haven't got around to going through all our toys again. They were wiped down and just put back in the boxes. Yeah, she did have a little mishap. She had a little bit of a cut on her knee when she fell on our slabs, but then it ended up going on the baby doll. So yeah, so I'm going to get on and get this video done. Right, as the guys are still in bed and it's still early, I didn't want to make too much noise. Obviously I'm sorry I'm talking quite quietly as well, I don't want to disturb them, so music will be coming to this video anyway. This is my sewing basket. I have had it now for a fair few years. I believe it came from Lidl if I remember, and I think it might have been between £10 and £15, I like to say. It's even still got the sticker on. It's by Rubbermaid, and said it's held up really well, and I just keep this stored in one of my pink boxes on the shelf in my cubby. And I will show you the sort of before. This is it. The only thing is the handle did actually snap, so I'm not sure if I can do anything with that, but it doesn't really matter. I've just kept that. So as I said, I brought this out because I hand stitched that little curtain for the cubby to hide the router and everything. When I do the coverings for the tumble dryer and the little cubbies in my kitchen, I have got a miniature sewing machine from GML, that's correct, and I'm hoping to use that. But for the one in the cubby, I just hand sewed it while I was watching TV. And so this was on my list originally way back, I think beginning of the year when I was sorting my cubby out. I never got round to doing it, so when it came out it got on the to-do list, this last to-do list, and I thought I'd get it done. So it's got this segment here, it's got this one here, and then underneath there. So I'm going to get this done. I'm not sure how much I'm going to video it and how much obviously I'll show you afterwards. And I've got I don't think you can see, but I've got my pink bin here ready. It's one of those things that you, I don't know about anybody else, store pieces in, you know, like I've took that off curtains. That was one of my first attempts of making a little Christmas stocking. So there's lots of different, you know, pieces that have come into here, so I know where they are. So I'm going to make a start and get this done. Right, so I've cleaned the outside and the inside of my sewing box, and I have got all this stuff, and I've used this obviously because I don't want to put stuff on the carpet necessarily, because the pens and everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it in like for like, just making it easy, like all the cottons together, buttons together, and these sort of things, because I used to store all this sort of thing in here. This was when I was making stockings. Now, I didn't make these. These were actually purchased. I think they were from a craft fair. But I was going to say make some, and that's why I got the cord for, you know, the hanging bit. So that's why I've got things like that. Also, when the guys were at like Beavers, Cubs and Scouts and things, I've even got a badge that was on the school blaze and things like that. Really and truly, they should go in a memory box. But I'm going to sort everything out and just, you know, see what I have, and then I'll show you it all completed. Right, so I've actually grouped like to like, so I've got all like pins and needles. Didn't realise how many sets I got. I've got the buttons all here. There's the stockings. They probably go in the Christmas craft box actually. I've got like a travel set there sewing. I tend to keep a, you know, mini sewing kit in our caravan, but I think a few of these pieces might end up going to the caravan, just so I tend to do little craft pieces and sewing and everything when I'm in the caravan, especially if we're there any length of time, so that's what I might do. Yeah, this is what I mean about putting things away. This is the cheap one, as I said, the iron on, you know, what I call the cheap one anyway. I find it okay for emergencies and everything, but if it's something that's constantly being washed, I sometimes use this and then I will sew it just so it holds into place. I got the badges there from by the Beavers, Cubs and Scouts, which really should go in a memory box. And I say that's the top of the curtain. I might just get rid of that actually. Elastic there, tape measures. That one shouldn't even been in here. That should be in the bit drawer in the kitchen, because these are sort of tape measures I like in my sewing basket. Different scissors. I say the handle there that I've got to decide what I'm going to do. I like to use little mini baggies, you know, for bits and pieces. Then all these cottons, I'm going to thin these down. Some, again, I will take to the caravan to replenish my little sewing kit in there. And I think a few will go to the craft group when we go back. just so I know we haven't got many different cottons in there, and the same with the needles and pens. So now I'm going to organise my box and get everything put back. Okay, probably a lot of people may think this is a waste of time, but I emptied my sewing basket, as I said, of all the cottons, and I roughly put them in sort of, you know, the shades, the colours and everything. It does actually make a lot of a nice piece of artwork if you had one of those box frames, I must admit. So there we are. And then I've emptied also my little plastic sewn container that I'm going to take to the caravan. I've only just used that UHU glue and some surgical black tape just to put the handle on here. I will say, I'll go back to this in a moment, but I've kept a lot of the larger white and black cottons because that's what I mostly use, and they're already in there. So I'm just going to thin these down, see what I want to put back in the sewing basket, what I want to take to the caravan, and what I'm going to donate to our community centre. But as I said, because it's early, well, still fairly early, and the guys are in bed, I can't make too much noise. So this is a job I've put on for over a year actually, to go through all this, and basically I probably would only be sitting down reading my book anyway, so at least this is something I'll be ticking off my list. So as I said, I'm going to thin these down and see which ones I want to keep. Right, so this is all the cottons I'm actually donating to the community centre, just for the fact that a lot of these colours I don't actually use. I've kept a couple, as you can see, of different shades from each colour, but I don't know about anybody else, but if I'm going to do sewing, I always go for white or black. Mostly when the boys were obviously little and at school, white was constantly sewing buttons on the white shirts, and black if I had to turn up trousers or something like that, or put the button back on the waistband of school trousers, things like that. So really and truly, white and black are mostly the only colours I use, but for the sake of not wasting money, I've kept a portion of the different colours and decided I'm going to donate these to the community centre. So that's that out the way. So a little bit of a result, and I've put together my little sewing kit for the caravan. I've took out a variety of different cottons, including the white and the black. The mini scissors are in there, thimble, needles, tape measure, some of that bonding web, because I do have a travel iron in our caravan. The only thing that's missing out of my sewing basket and the sewing kit is the, I don't really know what to call it, the needle threader. It's that little metal piece with a bit of wire, and you poke it through the eye of the needle, thread the cotton through it, then pull it back. I'm sure you understand, if you're a sewer, what I'm on about. And I had a couple. A lot of the times they only come in mini sewing kits and things, so I'd like to have a whole pack of them. So I'm going to have to research that one to see if I can just buy the needle threader. So that is the little travel sewing kit for our caravan. Sometimes what I tend to do, if I'm going to be out any length of time or away, I sometimes have a very small little sewing kit, tiny thing, in my handbag just for emergencies. And that was mostly things like when our eldest son got married, I kept a little, sort of pouch in my bag with safety pins and needle and thread, because you don't know. So there is the sewing kit done, and now I'm going to show you my sewing basket. As I said, it's surprising, just reorganising it, how I want to use things. As I said, I have put this job off for so long. Maybe it's because it's in a box, it was contained, and I just thought it was about time I do it. So the first segment here, I've got all my needles here, pins, I've got the bonding web that's been started here, tape measures, measuring pencils, and some thimbles. As I said, I need to get the needle threaders to put in here, and this is what I mean by sorting one of these boxes out and tend to have just mini sewing kit in case of emergencies, like safety pins and everything, if you're at an occasion where you're going to be out all day, like I said, a wedding or something, because you never know. So that's that segment. I have glued this, and also I've put some black surgical tape down. It is quite weak, but it will do for now, and it stops these sharp bits. So I'm going to pull this out. So got sort of hook and eyes and elastic there, and little clips there. This is what I mean by the white and the black. Got all white here, all black here, white, black. Said they're the colours I mostly go for. Scissors, safety pins there, and then I've got 3 cottons up here. One's like a glittery silver, one's a glittery gold, and one's just a matte sort of gold. I put those there just in case, you never know, for a craft project, so I know where they are. As I said, white and black, and I keep saying this, is the colours that I would use. This is where the difference is. As you can see, look how empty it looks. So all the small cottons and everything, I only kept, sorry about that, that's my husband's phone. I guess he's getting emails coming through. Now it's a little bit later, so I wanted to get it so that they all just fit in the one container. I didn't show this, I did keep all the bigger cottons, different colours, and I will have like a little plastic tray or something in there just to corral them, but I can't get into my upstairs cupboard where I keep all my organisation boxes and containers due to the fact, as I said, the guys are in bed. I've got the rest of that iron bond down there, and these containers hold my buttons. So I think that is a really good result. I have been on it probably a couple of hours actually. I'm sitting here having my morning coffee, getting this done. As I said, it is one job that, because it is corralled and out of sight, out of mind sort of thing, I wanted to get it done. So I'm very pleased with that job now completed. Right, we didn't get any gardening done today due to the fact that it's been raining off and on. In times the sun has been coming out, and then the next minute it's been raining, so it hasn't stopped long enough really to do any work outside, plus everything is really wet. We did have a slight detour because what happened was, after the guys got up, I mentioned about going to Rugby, to this home base, which is a 60-mile round trip, because our home base is not showcasing, or in their showroom got a couple of items that our son wanted to see, and we're talking hundreds of pounds worth for his tools and everything. And so I rang the store up at Rugby, explained the situation, and I knew they had 3 in stock according to the website, as our branch doesn't, and they have them in 2 sizes. Now the largest size we knew wouldn't get in our car, would need a van, but the smaller size we could, but the smaller size was out of stock. But basically our son wanted to see, it's like a really big workbench with all the drawers and everything in underneath. Amazing. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I thought, oh, this won't last 5 minutes, all nice and clean. But anyway, so we discussed it with one of the sales people. They were very helpful, and on the phone. Say, we haven't had very much success, although there's been a few items that we've been on my wish list, and to tell you the truth, I haven't really found a lot of the assistants very very helpful, even before the lockdown. You sort of know, I've even stepped away from an assistant that I haven't been happy with how they're handling the situation, you know, selling the product or whatever, you know, what you want to purchase, or not given the information. Or I hate being swayed or basically near enough forced to purchase an item that you don't want. I don't like pushy salespeople. I don't mind if their recommendations are sort of true and I could see their point of view. But as I said, you know, I've learnt now that because I don't like confrontation, but hubby is really good, especially when it comes to technology. It might be just some of the you know, questions, you know, he might need to ask and everything, and especially if it's a large item or delivery and everything like that. I hate being pushed, especially when hundreds of pounds is involved, and I'm sure everybody can understand this. This is why if it's something technology wise, I like to have my son or hubby with me, because I would feel as though I'm being bulldozed half the time into something I don't want. So yeah, so as you know from this video, I've got my laptop. My fridge is coming on Monday, so yeah, and I must admit the second salesperson I thought was most helpful when it came to the fridge, not so much with the laptop, but it wasn't the worst experience. But to say how much we spent in the store that day, I know it was 2 different sales assistants, but still. And I know it's an awkward time, and I know sales assistants have to be put up with a lot, but I think there's crossing the line. Anyway, that's enough of a rant about sales pitches. As I said, we went to Rugby and we've seen the item up and now, and as I said, the other one, the smaller one that would have gone in the car, was out of stock. They having problems in getting stock. If anything, they're getting in anything to do with gardening and everything, and garden furniture, barbecues, that sort of merchandise, more than big toolboxes. I'm not talking about, it's massive. Yeah, I would say, I mean, if you know my back doorway, it is bigger than the width of this. And I say it's tabletop with drawers and everything, and they don't deliver. They haven't got the drivers. They did have one driver, and he's gone off sick now, so they haven't got any drivers. So unless you happen to be able to take it away, so what we said we'd do was see if we can either hire a van, which run expensive, or we'll see about seeing if we can get somebody. The only problem is it's not local, so that's the only problem. It's different, you know, asking someone to help you out if it's local, which it's not. So yeah, so I actually enjoyed the trip out. You know, I say it's a 60-mile round trip just to go to home based, which for some people probably isn't a lot, but when you've got home base in your own town, but you can't, well, you can go, but they haven't got the room, or they haven't got the show. Although I haven't been in our home base for ages, but my son did go in a few days prior, and they haven't got what he wanted in stock or on show, and because of all the money, he needed to see it, if you can understand what I'm saying. Right, when I got back, we did have a late lunch. I was feeling a little bit lightheaded. I had breakfast before we left, because it was sort of a last minute decision, and we needed to get on the road, and we took both vehicles just in case our son had the small one, whereby hubby would have took the seats out of our car and put them in our son's. So we took them. If they were going to go in just hubby's car, but you know, they did say, well, you come with us, you don't get out, not very often. So I enjoyed the road trip, you know, looking around and everything, you know, going somewhere else, even though it was home base, I enjoyed it. Hubby wanted me to get a new strimmer because ours isn't working very well. I did look at them and a few other pieces, but in the end we did come back empty-handed, and I said, well, I do need a strimmer, but by that time I think it was getting close to lunchtime, and we still had the trek back, so I said I left it because there was actually a massive queue through the cashiers. It looked big, long, because of obviously the social distances. So when we come back, we didn't get a barbecue, which was on the list for today, due to the fact, because of the rain, so I did it all in the oven. And then we settled down, and I was only going to watch one episode, and I got this. If you remember, I purchased this. This is the Vicar of Dipley, with Dawn French. I've never seen it before. I've obviously seen it advertised when they used to show it on TV, and we thought we'd watch one episode. There's 7, including a Christmas one, and we ended up watching it back to back. I don't think they're long episodes anyway. We watched the whole series. Then I went and did our hallway, because it had got a bit of a dumping ground. I'm not perfect, and there was all the drinks, obviously. I didn't include that in my Iceland food shot, and I do apologise. The drinks were just left there, and obviously my granny trolley with all my bags. But why it was getting so congested in there is due to the fact, and I was just as guilty, jackets, yeah, hear the word, jackets and fleeces, because normally we only allow one each. Maybe their work jackets as well, and also the paint I brought in to do the painting, which I hadn't got round to doing. So I did a bit of jigging around, and as you've seen the footage, I got it sorted out. I didn't speak through it, as you've probably seen. It's got just music to it. That's for the fact that the guys were watching TV right in the lounge, and I thought, you know what, I've said this before, I don't want to keep stopping them from you know, talking or watching TV if I'm filming. As I said, I try and go to another room. They did say they would stop and go upstairs. It was, even though it was windy at the time, it was still fairly muggy. I have put my fleece on now because I've just had a bath, and so but I am getting warm again now. But as you see, I got my sewing basket done, and I got the back doorway done. I got the hall done. So yeah, 2 jobs. They were put on my to-do list, but they weren't on the original one. And because of going to rugby and watching all of this, I didn't get a couple of other bits. I've still got to do under our bed, clean under the bed, and another thing is the dining room furniture. I wanted to pull out and clean. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, the coverings for the cubbies and the tumble dryer in the kitchen dining room. So they were the 3 jobs. I knew I wouldn't get it all done today, plus I got 2 other things done off of my list. But maybe tomorrow, if weather's not permitting, I'll get the rest of the inside jobs done, hopefully. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it done in the 7 days, certainly not by the looks of it, the front, but hey ho. And also it's our son's birthday tomorrow, and I don't really want him working on his birthday. I mean, he's got the day off, so we shall see. He said, oh, I'll help, but it's taking up slabs, as I said, and I keep going over this. It's manual work. This may take a couple of weeks before we get round to this particular job, but if I can get everything else off the list, it might dwindle into Monday. We'll have to see about that, but we'll see what gets done tomorrow. As I say, I'm finished for the day today. As I said, we've got a bit of light, whether I'm here with the light on because it's the lightest part of our home at the moment, and the wind is picked up, and as I say, it's just been raining off and on. I was actually happy we didn't have to queue outside of home base, because at the time it was pouring down with rain. We just got soaked actually just getting from the car to into home base. But I think I've ranted and waffled on enough. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and this series. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.